Yo, what's going on? It's Sebastian Sword checking in here. We got to talk about this because you know what? This is kind of getting a bit out of hand, a little bit. But you know what? This is kind of like how it is when it comes to boxing news sometimes, especially when it comes to a big story that we aren't necessarily 100% on what is going on when it comes to specific topics or when it comes to specific fights that may happen or may be on the verge of happening. And we got to go into this here because at this particular point, at least when I'm recording this particular video, it is July 30th, 6:51 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, the story that pretty much had been put out there initially, right, was that Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis had agreed to terms to fight in November. And this was put out by what? IFL TV on social media, I think it was, right? So you had this whole thing about IFL TV putting out that Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson pretty much like agreed to terms for a fight that was scheduled to be in November, right? Oh, November 23rd. Is that what IFL TV put out? Looks like that's what it was this morning, right? And then later on in the day, what do we have? We had Shakur Stevenson himself. Of course, you know Shakur Stevenson. He got to be on social media for y'all at times. So he pretty much put out there that was basically cap. Okay, so now you had a direct source, so to speak, in reference to that particular news that was released by IFL TV talking about Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis who are going to be fighting on November 23rd. So that's out the window, it looks like, right? Okay, cool. Then hours later, we get a post from Lance Pugmire that was posted on Boxing Scene that terms were agreed to verbally, if I'm not mistaken. I think it said verbally agreed to terms between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. Now, of course, you got William Zepeda there being as the quote unquote mandatory challenger for the WBC title, that you had that particular order from the WBC and that they had to basically work out a deal up until August 20th, which was the scheduled purse bid between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. Right? So Lance Pugmire put it out there, put it on Boxing Scene, and basically posted it on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's one thing. But now, just recently, I'm seeing something from our guy, Jake Donovan, where he basically said that nothing has been set in stone yet. Not from no verbal agreement, not from no written agreement, none of that. None of that has been done yet, but that they're still in talks. So we pretty much got three different stories in a whole day. We got three different stories in one day. That's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. That we got three different stories there uh within one day. Man, you know what? And it's just absolutely bad because this is something that's coming from a avenue, of course, with me being in media, in boxing media. And one of the things is that you want to be accurate, you want to be correct, you want to be able to uh, give the people stories that are basically accurate and everything like that. But when you have something like this happening, it just makes things really, really bad. So you know what? I'm gonna see here. I want to try to get in this thing here because this is something that we're going to be talking about. I want to just break this down here bit by bit, piece by piece. So let's go with the original thing that I said here earlier, right? Okay, here we go, right? IFL TV posted this earlier today, talking about Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson unification set for November 23rd. Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson are set to clash in a unified lightweight world title fight in Las Vegas on November 23rd. That is what IFL TV had posted here earlier. And they pretty much posted it out like it's on social media, because this is how, IFL TV or something like that pretty much puts this out, right? And they had this thing early this morning. Look at this thing, 2.3 million views. 2.3 million views. And you could also see here on the right that you have it trending with Shakur Stevenson. It's crazy, right? But IFL TV putting this out there. And the thing about it is that IFL TV is, as well, they claim here, the number one online source for boxing. You see what their numbers are. Almost 200,000 followers. 200,000 followers. So them putting this particular thing out at that particular time, you've seen what the numbers had. You've seen those numbers, right? So that pretty much like had the people like saying, oh, maybe, we finally get this fight. You had the whole thing with Tank Davis and Vasily Lomachenko fall apart. So then maybe we get this thing here with Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. And then IFL TV puts something like that out and says that, oh, that unification, it says it's set for November 23rd. But what happened here this afternoon, as far as like Eastern time? What did I say in reference to Shakur Stevenson? What did he post on there? He said what? This is fake. He said it right there. That's Shakur Stevenson's page. This is fake. So that kind of like says something right here, right? Number one, as it shows here, it shows a thing there for IFL TV. What does their caption say, or the header say? The number one online source for boxing. So if you're the number one online source for boxing, and then you post out something like this, and then one of the fighters that is directly part of the subject line or the subject that you have on your post is saying that that particular announcement is fake, that kind of like pretty much, it should basically nullify you or pretty much set you back as far as like being a reliable source, so to speak, when it comes to stuff like this. But it goes into a lot of cases where we've had this happen over the past couple of years, that a number of the media outlets want to be first when it comes to quote unquote big news, instead of being correct, instead of being accurate, instead of verifying what they get this stuff from. And this is like one of those examples there real quick. But like I said here, right, with Shakur Stevenson, he says that it's fake. So now I wanted to get into, of course, what I was saying later on, that happened later on down the line, right? Where it says breaking news. This happened, or this was posted a few hours ago on Boxing Scene through Lance Pugmire. Let me see if I can go ahead and post this up, because I want to make this as short as I possibly can. Try to get this thing here within 12 to 15 minutes. That's all I want to do. So let's do this here. All right, here we go. Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda verbally agree on matchup. That is posted by Lance Pugmire on 3:52 p.m., pretty much before 4 p.m. Eastern time. And it says here, I want to see this. I want y'all to see this. Shakur Stevenson's team grew tired of waiting for an offer from Gervonta Davis, so it is moving toward a fight that may have even more entertainment value. 3 divisions in WBC lightweight champion Stevenson has verbally agreed to the next fight. The lightweight division's consensus number one contender, Mexico's William Zepeda. undefeated. Okay, so there's that. Blah, 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 blah. At this, however, this most likely date and venue for the bout is October 12th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, under the main event of the undisputed light heavyweight championship fight between Russian unbeaten's Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, right? But I want to go into something here a little bit down the line that was very interesting. Here we go. Shakur Stevenson was hopeful that his free agency would sway fellow three-division champion Davis to strike a deal, and a report of such a union filtered out on social media Tuesday. But Stevenson co-manager Darsh Dubin told Boxing Scene that after Stevenson's other co-manager, James Prince, was asked by a premier boxing champions official if Stevenson was interested in fighting Davis and was told yes, a promised return phone call to negotiate never happened. Dubin says they are now 1 week past the promised date of contact. Now, I want to stop right there. Okay. Now, I want to just say this here real quick. Okay. Now, I find it interesting there from Lance Pugmire in that particular paragraph saying that he mentioned the co-managers for Shakur Stevenson by name, but wouldn't necessarily mention who the official or who the person was from Premier Boxing Champions that was supposed to or is supposedly representing Gervonta Tank Davis. I find it interesting. And, at least at this particular point, I have kind of like put this out to a couple of people within the news circle, whatever it is, and said, and pretty much posted that article and shared it to them. And they're saying, man, that don't look right at all. Because there are some people that we know within PBC that, usually deal with Tank Davis. And hey, if y'all have been following enough, y'all know who basically represents Gervonta Tank Davis. And would you think that they would kind of like say or be referred to as a premier boxing champions official? I don't think so. So for me, you know what? That just does not add up. The math, as they say, ain't mathing. No, the math ain't mathing. So now I want to go ahead and add this one last thing here. Like I said, shout out to Jake Donovan there that's on Twitter. Yeah, I'm gonna still call it Twitter. Okay, so here he is, and this is what he had posted here like pretty much an hour ago as the time that I had posted this. It says lots of rumors flying around regarding Shakur Stevenson's next fight. Was told by multiple sources that talks are still ongoing for WBC ordered mandatory versus William Zepeda. Both want the fight, but no agreement of any kind in place yet. Sides have until mid-August to reach a deal. Shout out to Jake Donovan, because this right here is how you basically do reporting, right? Like you were saying, rumors flying around, you got stuff that's being posted on there and things like that. He said from multiple sources, because there's anybody that could, contact people within either party or around the party, at least at this particular point, that's full time with this boxing thing, is Jake Donovan. And he says that, hey, talks are still ongoing for that particular proposed bout between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. It looked like, hey, both of those fighters are interested in it, but there's no agreement of any kind in place as of yet. And they have until mid-August to reach a deal, which is what I pretty much mentioned when it came to the WBC ordering that particular fight, and that the purse bid was scheduled for August 20th. So, look, I pretty much side with what Jake Donovan has posted out and say, you know what? Let's slow down a little bit. Let's wait it out. Let's see what's going to materialize. Because in this particular instance, right, especially with how Lance Pugmire put it out there, it seemed like it was something where they said, oh, Shakur Stevenson and his party definitely pursued the fight. but Tank Davis's party wasn't necessarily interested. And I'm saying, wait a minute, where did you get that from? So this is just something here where you say, hey, you know what? Let's wait it out. Let's see if we figure out who Shakur Stevenson will end up fighting. Because as we know, Tank Davis right now is over in Paris. You're representing there for, the U.S. boxing team that he's out there for, out there chilling in Paris, had that whole little back and forth, over in Baltimore, seeing if he would be able to go over to Paris in the first place. So he chilling, he good over in Paris right now. So as far as like any negotiations, right, unless they have like some phone communication where, folks over here, over on this coast or this side of the world are up like mad early in the morning or something like that, or mad late at night talking with Tank Davis. I don't know. But at least we have something. Like I said, once again, shout out to Jake Donovan. Pretty much have to see what gets ironed out, if anything gets ironed out, for Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. But if not, then you still have that on the table, at least I would say, with Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. But that's pretty much it. Try to get it within 15 minutes. We're about like 16 and a half minutes here. You can go ahead and share your thoughts on this. Hopefully we get a little bit more on this tomorrow. We will have the midweek report tomorrow on this channel, so y'all be sure to check that out, and I'll get back at y'all later. Until then, that's it. It's a Boxing Source. Peace out.